is enough said.
Happy Wednesday, Heat Nation! Hump Day! Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Hope y'all living your best life today. Woke up in a great positive mindset. Share that love by smashing that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you can get all your boys' updates. Now that we got that out the way, let's go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. Now, for today's episode, you guys, we're talking about Andrew Wiggins. Reason why is because things have been picking up over the last couple days about Andrew Wiggins. As we all know, there have been talks between the Los Angeles Lakers and Miami Heat surrounding Andrew Wiggins. But for those of you that don't know, let me give you a little history. After the Miami Heat were not able to pick up Kevin Durant via trade, it seemed like the Los Angeles Lakers were trying to take advantage of the situation. Because Heat fans were mad, this run it back mentality was happening again, and a lot of Heat fans, especially in Heat Twitter, were saying, look, if this is the case, if you can't get KD or Giannis or another whale, blow it up. Trade Wiggins, trade Rozier, trade Bam, trade Tyler, we all know. Andrew Wiggins did have interest from the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, Lakers were trying to get cute. You know, I heard packages surrounding Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura maybe. And the Heat were like, nah, if you want Andrew Wiggins, it's going to cost you Rui Hachimura, Dalton Connect, and a future first-round draft pick. And the Heat were kind of standstill on that if you want Andrew Wiggins, you got to give us these two quality players and a future draft pick. Andrew Wiggins, you guys, I understand why Miami was asking for that. He's coming off of an incredible season. I know he was marred by injury in the playoffs, but when you look at his numbers, you guys, a total of 60 games for both the Warriors and the Heat, averaged about 18 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 37.5% from the field. From the three-point line, 45% from the field. This is a guy who gives you championship pedigree. So I understand why the Heat are asking for a lot for Andrew Wiggins. Now, the Lakers weren't willing to do that, so they declined the trade. Then, the Miami Heat traded for Norman Powell a couple of days ago. And then after that, it was also posted that the Los Angeles Lakers are looking to revamp their talks with the Miami Heat, and that they're hoping that the Miami Heat have lowered their offer and are willing to take less. Now, it was reported yesterday by Lakers reporter Jovan Buah, who said, I still think Wiggins is an option, but I don't think there's been much conversation between two sides as of late. Still, it's always random when something gets aggregated. And it just destroys my mentions for days because this Wiggins thing has destroyed my Twitter. Wow. I've not really been able to check my replies for almost a week now because of this Wiggins aggregation about the price that Miami was asking for. So I don't think the Lakers are going to give them that price. I don't think anyone's going to give them that price for Wiggins. I think he's still an option, but I don't think there's been much traction between two sides. Buah also mentioned a question and answer session. I don't know if Wiggins at that point is looking realistic, given what Miami is asking for in return, end quote. So I'll keep it real with you guys. Before the Norman Powell trade, of course I was open to trading Wiggs. This guy is making about $28 million this year. He has a player option for $30 million next year. If you weren't trading for a whale or someone to help this team, it's all about cap shedding. Getting Andrew Wiggins out of here, getting Terry Rozier out of here, getting as much cap flexibility for the 2026 offseason. Then you traded for Norman Powell. And what you gave up for Norman Powell, not having to give up a future first-round draft pick, not having to give up a young asset like Nikola Jovic, Jaime Jaquez, Pallel Larson, Kasparis Jonas, obviously Ware, and not having to give up a high-level profile rotation player, shows that the Miami Heat are trying to compete in the Eastern Conference. Now with Norman Powell on this team, with a potential starting lineup of Kel'el Ware, Bam Adebayo, Andrew Wiggins, Tyler Hero, and either Norman Powell or Davion Mitchell, with having one of those players coming off the bench as the sixth man with Jovic, Jaquez, Kasparis Jonas, Haywood Highsmith, Simone Fontecchio. This is a team that, in my opinion, can compete for top 3 in the Eastern Conference. New York and Cleveland are the favorites in the East. They are. But besides them, it's an open game. You have Orlando, Detroit, Miami. Atlanta can come out of the woodworks. It's an open, competitive field in the Eastern Conference. Now that you traded for Norman Powell, a guy that gives you 22 points a game averagely, one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA, with Tyler Hero, who both of them were in the three-point contest last year. Both averaged about, Norman Powell averaged 42% from the three-point line. Tyler almost averaged 40. You have those two guys playing together on the same team. It's going to be a problem for other teams. So now that you've traded for Norman Powell, you guys, I maybe like Locked On Heat, my boy in Chat Sports, and other people are saying this. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid with Andrew Wiggins, y'all. Maybe trading Andrew Wiggins isn't really the best idea if you're keeping this team together. Now, look, I'll keep it a buck with you guys. If the Lakers are offering Rui Hachimura, Dalton Connect, and a future first-round draft pick, of course I'm entertaining the idea. Because Rui Hachimura, you can slide him right there in the small forward position to take over Wiggins' place. He's more of a team player. This allows and frees up Tyler and Norman to be the focal points offensively. You also get Dalton Connect, who's a lights-out shooter coming off your bench. Hell yeah. And you get a future first-round draft pick. But if the Lakers are looking for us to lower our stance for Wiggins, read between the lines, Los Angeles. That's not happening. It's either Rui, Dalton Connect, and a first-round draft pick, or it's nothing. Take it or leave it. And if the Lakers say no, again, read between the lines. We don't care. With this current Miami Heat roster, you guys, I'm excited for next season. I'm excited because this current roster, barring injury, can contend in the Eastern Conference. Now, can they win an NBA championship? I mean, it'd be delusional to say yes, but you never want to count your team out. But look at what Indiana did last year. You had a bunch of players on the same team that knew their role and played it to perfection. There was no drama like the Jimmy Butler saga last year. Everybody knew their role. And you have one of the best coaches in the NBA, Eric Spoelstra, leading this bunch. I know Spo made some boneheaded decisions last year, you guys, but we were not in the room. I'm sure all of that Jimmy Butler drama and crap was really weighing heavy on Spo. Let's not forget he just went through a divorce as well. So I think this is a prove-it year for Coach, but it's also a prove-it year for the players. And by trading Andrew Wiggins for scraps, what are you doing? Nothing. Yeah, you can trade for... You can take a package of Hachimura and Gabe Vincent. These are two guys with expiring contracts and think, okay, we'll take these two guys and we'll open up cap flexibility in 2026. But nah, screw that. You're going for it next year. You got to keep Andrew Wiggins. I know, and I'm mentioning this, guys, because people have been in my comments recently saying we must trade Wiggins. I don't think so. Now that you traded for Norman Powell, you're selling to Andrew Wiggins that this is going to be a better team. Guys, the Miami Heat are way better today than we were 3 days ago. That's just the facts. We went from a team that, again, is a play-in, potential lottery team, to now a team that can be top 4 in the Eastern Conference. And for those people that are going to laugh and then say that's not true, you tell me, besides New York and Cleveland, who's head and shoulders the favorite for the 3rd seed? I know Orlando just traded for Desmond Bane. They're going to be a good team next year. I know Detroit is coming back with that same grit and grind they had last year. I know Atlanta made some upgrades. But I think that he can compete with all of those teams. I really believe so. And let's not forget the fact that by making this trade, Norman Powell has an expiring contract. Maybe you talk an extension with him, that he'd have 6 more months to do that. But you were able to keep all of your assets, guys. If there's a possibility that somebody becomes available later in this offseason, during the season, the trade deadline isn't until February. And the Heat still have all their cards and all their chips. They actually got a really nicer chip in Norman Powell. You can potentially make a big trade. Now you're players in the trade market. Because now you have Norman Powell, Tyler Hero, and Bam Adebayo. And if you're trying to go for a third star, Tyler Hero and Norman Powell become tradable. Just saying. Maybe not, but you never know. So in conclusion, you guys, trading Andrew Wiggins, in my opinion, isn't really the best idea. Unless it's an offer we can't refuse. So Heat Nation, I want to hear from you. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Should we keep Andrew Wiggins, or should we trade him if it's for the right price? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're pushing to 7,000 subscribers. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. And until next time, your boy Ernest out, and that is enough said.